It's a fascinating dilemma, isn't it? I mean, we've got the tools now to make a hit song in our bedrooms, literally just, from a laptop.
Yeah.
But actually earning a living from that music, it feels, I don't know, more complex, maybe even harder than ever. It's this real paradox in today's music world.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting is how that incredibly ease of entry, how it's reshaped basically everything.
Right.
So our deep dive today, we're really going to try and unpack what it actually means to be a musician, like right now in the 21st century.
Mm.
We'll look at how the industry's changing, how artists get discovered, how they get paid,
Hmm.
explore some really innovative ways talent's being nurtured, and try to figure out who the real shapers of sound are today.
And we're drawing on what? Recent YouTube talks, articles, expert takes?
Exactly, pulling it all together.
Okay. So the big question we're asking is, how do musicians really make money these days? How are they adapting? And crucially, how do today's trends connect back to, well, the innovative spirit music's always had? Let's jump in.
Okay. Well, the digital revolution, it's really torn down a lot of the old barriers. The accessibility now is just, it's unprecedented.
It really is, right?
Yeah.
Just think about it. Technology has massively lowered the barrier for, well, creating and distributing music. You don't need those super expensive recording studios anymore or, pressing thousands of CDs.
You,
Now, pretty much anyone with a laptop and an internet connection can make really high quality tracks and just put them out there like a Wookie Wookie making TikTok sounds from home. It's just worlds apart from how it used to be.
totally different.
But does that actually democratize things, or does it just create like a new kind of gatekeeper?
That's a really good question. Because getting the music onto, say, Spotify is surprisingly easy now. You use these digital distributors, TuneCore, DistroKid, CD Baby, those guys.
Right, the middlemen.
Kind of, yeah. They're the gateway. And once your music's up, artists can grab a verified Spotify for Artists profile, manage their page, see who's listening, where,
Okay.
all that data.
Got
So the technical barrier, definitely lower.
Okay, so if it's that easy to get your music out there, why does making money feel like pulling teeth? What's the catch with all this digital ease?
That's where let's say the hard truth kicks in. Making real money, significant money just from streaming, it's incredibly tough.
How tough are we
We're
talking?
talking razor thin margins. Like
Yeah.
estimates suggest an artist, maybe like Dirty Blonde, might get about 0.27 cents per stream on Spotify.
Wow, not even a third of a cent.
Exactly. Or, Mary Spender, the independent musician, she figures it's roughly a third of a penny per stream for her.
Hmm.
And if you're just starting out like a really small artist, you might earn literally nothing for fewer than 1,000 streams.
Nothing.
Pretty much. And even for artists on major labels, after the label takes its cut and publishers and everyone else,
Mm-hmm.
maybe only about 16% of the streaming money actually gets to the artists themselves.
16%. That's a tiny slice of the pie.
It's almost, well, unsettling how these numbers can literally shape the art itself.
Yeah.
Like, does this economic reality push artists towards, I don't know, shorter, catchier songs?
Oh, it absolutely does. Think about it. Streaming platforms usually pay per play, right? Not for how long a song is, as long as you listen for like 30 seconds.
The 30-second rule.
Exactly. So that incentivizes artists to make shorter songs. If your 2-minute track gets played 3 times in the same 6 minutes it takes to play one long song, well, the short song just made triple the revenue.
Okay, that makes cold, hard sense. So it's
Okay.
not just maximizing plays. It's also about, like, keeping people from skipping. Because the algorithms like that, right, songs with low skip rates.
That's a huge part of it. Yeah, the algorithms favor songs people stick with. High retention.
So the music gets optimized for the algorithm.
That's a great way to put it, yeah. It pushes artists to make these quote-unquote playlist-friendly tracks. Hook right away, chorus early, often under 3 minutes, get them quick, keep them listening.
And honestly, this fits perfectly with, well, modern attention spans being shorter. Makes songs way more likely to blow up on TikTok, where it's all about those brief, catchy moments.
So if Bach were writing today, he'd be optimizing for TikTok snippets.
Huh. It's a wild thought, isn't it? But yeah, from an economic and algorithmic view, it kind of makes sense.
Okay, so given those really tough streaming economics and the algorithm basically shaping the sound, what does this force artists to do differently? Are they having to completely rethink their whole business model, like beyond just getting streams?
Oh, absolutely. They have to. It's all about becoming a multi-hyphenate artist now. Diversifying income streams is key.
Right.
So yeah, traditional stuff like live shows, selling merch, getting songs in ads or movies, it's still there. But even those have caveats.
Like what?
Well, for rising artists, touring can be a huge expense. We heard about Seema, an Irish country singer, apparently loses money every time she tours the U.S. because of visas and travel costs.
Wow, that's rough.
Yeah, it's a massive contrast to, say, Taylor Swift's Eras Tour making billions. It shows the gap.
That difference is just staggering. So, okay, if touring is tough for new artists, where are they finding their audience? Where's that initial buzz coming from? Social media must be huge.
Oh, indispensable. Platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, they're central now for getting discovered, for direct fan connection, for building that community.
Oh, we're seeing influencers jump into music too, right? Using their existing fan base.
Yes, exactly. They leverage those parasocial relationships they already have with millions of followers. And that can mean instant streams, instant sales for their music. Sometimes they can pretty much bypass the traditional industry path.
But there's that authenticity question again, isn't there? Like sometimes it can feel a bit like a cash grab if an influencer suddenly drops a song. How do you tell the difference?
That's a really tricky one. And, audiences aren't stupid. They can often sniff it out. There's that example of an alleged industry plant, 11 million TikTok followers, huge ad spend,
Yeah.
and the song only got like 300,000 streams. It just didn't connect,
Yeah.
which is really different from someone like, say, KSI or that Twitch streamer Papa Plata, who are genuinely involved in the music creation. Their moves feel more authentic, and you see the engagement stick around.
Right, authenticity matters. Now, something that really jumped out at me, maybe a bit counterintuitive, is the power of physical sales.
Mhm.
Even now, Mary Spender had that amazing example.
She really did. It's fascinating. She worked out she needed, what, 9 million Spotify streams to break even on an album that cost £25,000 to make?
9 million streams.
Yeah. But then she calculated that selling just 2,000 CDs would do the same job financially.
Wow.
For her, one CD sale was worth over 8,000 Spotify streams.
Incredible.
So yeah, she made her album Super Sexy Heartbreak
Yeah.
exclusive to her physical merch store for almost a year before it hit streaming. It just shows how valuable that direct connection, that direct sale to a fan still is.
That's a brilliant move for an indie artist. And it feels like musicians are getting super creative with other income streams too. The artist isn't just an artist anymore. They're like a small business.
Totally. A true entrepreneur. We're seeing everything. Online concerts, doing recording gigs on places like Fiverr.
Fiverr, really? Okay.
Yeah. Or teaching one-on-one tutoring, online courses, selling PDF booklets, even composing or arranging popular songs for other people. And then there's this really smart idea of recycling work.
Recycling work. Okay, tell me more. How does that work?
Well, imagine you record a live show or even just a studio session, right?
Uh-huh.
You can take that one recording and chop it up, put the long version on Patreon for your super fans. Shorter videos go on YouTube, then tiny little clips, snippets for TikTok or Instagram Reels.
Ah, I see. Targeting different platforms, different attention spans.
Exactly. You maximize the value from every single thing you create. Just leverage that one piece of work across everywhere you can. Super smart.
This whole shift, it must be impacting record deals too. I mean, the old deals sounded awful, like TLC being broke despite selling millions.
Oh, notoriously bad deals back then. Basically high-interest loans.
Yeah. And then came the 360 deals where labels took a cut of everything, merch, touring, everything. Sounded like indentured servitude sometimes.
Yeah, those could be pretty rough too, recouping advances from all income streams. But things are shifting now. Artists seem to have a bit more leverage.
How so? What's changing?
Well, we're seeing different kinds of deals emerge, like distribution deals, and artists might get a much better royalty split. Dirty Blonde apparently gets 85% with EQ Distro, and, crucially, they get to keep ownership of their master recordings.
Ah, owning the masters. That's huge.
It's massive, so they get more control, more ownership, but can still tap into a label's marketing muscle, which, as producer Zaytoven pointed out, is still really valuable.
And the labels themselves, they're doing okay from streaming now, right? Like
Wow.
flush with cash. Does that help artists negotiate better terms?
It seems to be, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All that streaming revenue means labels have money to spend, which drives up the price for signing hot artists. And that generally leads to better terms. It feels like a bit of a rebalancing act is happening.
Okay, interesting. So this rebalancing, it's not just in pop or hip hop. Let's shift gears a bit. You mentioned classical music has its own unique challenges, especially for young composers learning to write for big orchestras.
Yeah, it's a very specific problem. It's incredibly hard for a young composer to get practical experience writing for a full symphony orchestra. Usually the best they can hope for is maybe a college orchestra, which is great. but it's not the same scale or caliber.
Right. So this is where that London Symphony Orchestra program, the Panifnik scheme, comes in. Sounded like a really cool solution.
It's fantastic, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a year-long scheme, and they bring young composers together with the full LSO. And that's key. Not deputies or a smaller group, the actual world-class LSO players.
Wow.
And they get to workshop short pieces with them, get direct feedback right there from the musicians.
Uh-huh.
Imagine how valuable that is.
Oh, unbelievably valuable. Must be a dream for those composers.
It really is. It gives them this amazing chance to experiment, to really, spread their wings with a top-tier orchestra. And it's really comprehensive. They get individual mentors. They can sit in on rehearsals, ask players technical questions directly.
That's amazing. And they focus purely on talent, right? Not just background or notation skills. I heard they even bring in jazz or pop composers.
They do. People like Jason Yard and Savon, even if they aren't experts in traditional scoring, if the talent and potential are there, the scheme finds ways to support them. It's really about the musical ideas.
That sounds incredibly forward-thinking. And it must be good for the orchestra too, right? Getting involved early with new work. I think you mentioned they sometimes even catch mistakes, like when the composer hasn't written down exactly what they intended.
Huh? Yeah, that happens. It shows how close the collaboration is. And the LSO sees it as building a long-term connection, like a family of young composers. They track their development, like Vlad Michi, who started with a 3-minute piece in the scheme and then got a 10-minute commission a couple of years later. It's a real investment in the future of orchestral music.
That's brilliant. Okay, so bringing it back to the sound of today, all this genre blending, this experimentation we see everywhere, how much of that is actually echoing stuff from the past? Who are the big names defining music right now, and how do they connect historically?
Well, if you look at chart success, influence, critical acclaim, you've got artists like Kanye West. I mean, 10 albums, produced over 150 tracks, mixing rap, pop, gospel. Huge impact.
Definitely.
Then Kendrick Lamar, obviously, for his lyricism, the social commentary. Beyonce, just a massive cultural force, crossing genres, tackling social issues.
Can't argue with those. And Taylor Swift, obviously breaking all sorts of Billboard records, her storytelling.
Absolutely. And then newer voices like Billie Eilish with her really unique sound talking about mental health. And Olivia Rodrigo capturing that raw youthful emotion, blending pop and rock.
Okay, so what are the big trends these artists represent collectively? What does Billboard tell us?
Well, Billboard's top artists really highlight a few things. One is massive genre fluidity pop, R&B, hip hop, country, Latin. It's all blending together.
Yeah, you hear that everywhere.
There's also maybe a preference for mid-tempo, kind of easy listening tracks overall. And definitely a shift towards solo artists being dominant over bands.
Yeah.
That seems driven by digital platforms, personal branding.
Makes sense. The individual brand.
Exactly.
And when we look at these trends, this experimenting and blending, it makes you think it's not totally new, is it? The spirit has roots.
Oh, absolutely not new. Deep roots. Think about Ray Charles back in the 50s, mixing sacred gospel sounds with secular R&B and blues to create soul music. That was radical genre blending for its time.
Good.
Or Miles Davis in the late 60s. He was literally cutting and splicing recording tape in the studio to create loops and new structures. That's basically proto-sampling, predating modern digital techniques by decades.
Wow. Yeah.
Or Kraftwerk in the 70s, their whole electronic, machine-like, almost faceless aesthetic. You could draw a line from that to so much modern electronic music and even pop production. They said they influenced all modern music.
And even the artist as business idea isn't entirely new.
Not really. I mean, think about the Beatles. Through smart management, they got to a point where they could really call the shots with their record company, shifting power and wealth towards the artist in a way that hadn't happened much before. So yeah, the innovation we see today definitely builds on what came before.
Okay, so we've kind of come full circle, haven't we? Back to that paradox we started with. It's never been easier to make music, get it out there.
Right. Technologically simple.
But actually building a sustainable career, making a living from it, that seems incredibly challenging.
And that really points to this fundamental shift, I think. The most successful artists today, they aren't just musicians. They have to be. They're really savvy business people, too. They're good at marketing. They build communities. They find all those different income streams we talked about. It really makes you think of that Jay-Z line, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman.
Yeah, that sums it up perfectly. Okay, so maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. Given this weird situation, low barrier to making music, super high barrier to monetizing it, What does that mean for how we even define a successful artist in the future?
Hmm.
Is it less about platinum records now and more about, I don't know, cultural impact, your digital footprint, or maybe just the ability to connect directly with a dedicated fan base, even if it's not millions of people?
Yeah. What does success look like now?
And for you personally, when you think about the music you love, how much weight do you give to the art versus the business side that actually gets that music into your ears? Something to think about.